What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Iccy Show. This is interview 474 interviews I've done in 3.5 years. Shout out to my assistant. Sorry we're late. Traffic is crazy. You see all that in the background? That's my original G Girl shirt when I started this music industry, 2008. Everyone that I've worked with, somehow, some way, all the way there. If you sent a shirt, it's on the wall, or it's going to be on the wall. Shout out to my local. She's still finishing the wall. So yeah, we're about to get rap stuff for Pennsylvania on here. Give them a second to get on here. If you want to be a guest on the Iccy Show, I am booked until September this year. So salute to everyone that's on with your interview booked or getting on here. I appreciate it. So give this artist a second. Traffic is crazy today. Crazy. I don't know if everyone's going away because the heat tomorrow. I really don't know. Okay, so we sent him the invite. As soon as he gets on here, we will start this Iccy Show. If you want to be a guest, like I said, don't wait till the last minute to get a date scheduled because the dates are going like crazy. Don't forget June 2nd, 4-year anniversary party at your boy Custom Clothing Store, Haverhill, Massachusetts. Tight security. You do need a ticket to get in, so stay tuned on that. We will be live. There's going to be great people in the building. I can't wait. I'm so excited. We have a book author that will be there signing her books. We also have a psychic that will be in the building doing reasonable readings. She is on point. I'm telling you, on point. So I'm excited about that. Everyone that's coming from 1 to 3 on June 2nd. June is a busy month. I got my son's birthday, my birthday, Father's Day, and the mixtape. International mixtape is dropping on June 2nd. We're 1 month ahead of time, so it's off the chain. I can't wait. I can't wait for everyone to hear the amazing craft that everyone put into this mixtape. Salute to everybody. Peace, peace. How you doing? So we're just waiting for the artist to get on here. Again, I apologize. I'm stuck in a lot of traffic today. Hey, Bev. Beautiful Dangers in the building right now. Rap Stars manager. Here we go. Sorry, Bev. There was a lot of traffic today. Hey, Rap Star. What's going
What up?
on?
What up?
Welcome to the
What's
Ice
good?
Show again. I'm glad we got you this time. Last time we couldn't even get on, so there's a reason for it. But how you doing?
That was some bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm well. I'm
that's
well. How you been?
good. Good. I apologize about being late. Traffic is crazy out there. I think
It's
everyone's.
crazy.
I think they're scared about it being 100 degrees tomorrow, so they're all skit-scatting like cockroaches out there.
See, I would be the person outside at the 100 degrees because I love that weather.
Me
You
too.
know what I'm saying? I absolutely love like 90s. I love my weather like I love my hip hop music. Straight 90s.
Yeah,
90s baby.
90s baby
Right
right
here. Here we
there.
go. Yeah.
For real, you 90s all the way. You better play that number 90s, 90s, 90s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even in my birthday, 91, 91, 1991, that's just backwards. So, yeah, I'm gonna play that number. My grandfather plays that number, so I'm gonna go and tell him, yo, play my number, yo.
Yeah, definitely. So how you been the last few months since the last time I talked to you on the Icy Show?
I've been all right. A lot of good opportunities. If anybody know that my old Facebook got hacked,
Yeah, I heard.
so I had to recreate a new one. The bum motherfucker changed my email, my password. He went inside and was going through all my friends list, asking them for money, saying he got robbed and trying to sell puppies to try to get them and everything. I did lose a lot of contacts, but I'm getting most of them back.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just starting fresh all over, getting new fans, old fans, people who dibbled and dabbled in my music from way before, new people. You know, they gonna see some interesting stuff when I release this album that I'm working on.
Yes, yes. That's a sucker. Whoever did that, they were a sucker for that shit because, they're just a hater. Um, I've had that happen, and it's crazy. And they actually hit me up, and I forget what the hell I was doing when I got it, and it said they said you were jumped or some shit. I forget what it's robbed. You were robbed. I said, "Are you okay?" And me and you know how we write. So I knew
Right,
I was like, wait a minute. So I asked him something, and he ended up unfriended me. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not him. So then I contacted your manager, Beverly Bush, and I said, I think something happened to Rap Star's page. And she goes, yeah, I got hacked. And I was like, what an asshole. And then you made another one. They did the same shit. And then you got this.
well, I think what happened with the second one was the first time I started making a new one, because at first when that happened, when the first hacking, happened, I was like, you know what, fuck Facebook. I was just like, man, fuck, because Facebook community don't help shit. They don't do nothing. They're all about when you post something that they don't like, then they want to take you down. But when an actual thing is going on, like being locked out of, like, my actually very first Facebook, I got locked out of that one. My rap store one, I got locked out of that one, so I couldn't um get that back. And then I luckily had a second one. I backed up. That was my Cameron Cortez, the second one. So that was the one that got hacked. And then I made another one. That one, I think they blocked me from it because I was starting promoting. I started tagging people. Facebook don't like when you tag a lot of people too much. So they flagged me for that one. So I had to recreate this one
Yeah.
and inbox people. The people that I was like connected with on their like social media, like shout out to Diva411. I am connected with her through Twitter, so I inboxed her on Twitter and said, hey, my Facebook got hacked, and anybody that was on my TikTok or Twitter or emails, phones, I just had to let them know because he was hitting up everybody. He hit up my sister. He hit up people at my job. He hit up family members, and people knew, like the people who know me personally, the people who talk to me knew that I was like, that's not how he talked. That's not even him.
Yeah, and that's how I knew it. I was like, the way we talk, I was like, oh, they weren't pronouncing the ways of spelling. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So, like I said, I had someone reach out to me asking me, is it true? And I said, what? And they said that he got robbed. I'm like, no, no, he got hacked. So she was like, oh, they were asking me for money. I was like, yeah, no, don't accept it. It's hacked. So she ended up blocking it. But
Yep, it's still going on. It's still going on till this day. I think I had somebody like yesterday hit me up and was like, was I talking to you yesterday? I'm like, no, I wasn't, because the bitch motherfucker actually blocked me a few days ago, because what I was doing was I was following my own page, and he had it to where it didn't show my fans, like it didn't show all my friends.
yeah,
So I had to go on every picture and video that I had and started adding people to anybody who like commented, liked, had some type of reaction to it. So I added them back. And then he started, circulating these fake posts about these damn puppies that he was trying to sell. And people was hitting me up like, you selling puppies? I'm like, nah. So I was going to every post that he made and was like, nah, that ain't me. It's a scam. It's a scam. He kept deleting. Now I was cool until the other day when he posted that he voted. That got me on my nerves because anybody who know me know I don't vote. I don't like Republicans. I don't like Democrats. I think they are one and the same.
yeah.
Every president since Washington was crooked. The first 10 presidents had slaves. So I cannot see myself voting. And when he posted that I voted, oh, hell no. I started raising hell, so that's when he blocked me.
Shit. Well, fuck the haters, get the paper. That's all I say. Keep on going. Rap star, that means God's gonna cleanse your people that were fake following you and make you have the real followers. You know what I'm saying? That's what God's
Right.
probably doing, or you never know. I always take the negative to a positive and switch it around, so they don't get too much cloud
Mm-hmm.
on it. But I want to say congratulations, you're on my international mixtape. Let's talk about that. It was supposed to
Yeah.
drop in July, but we moved it up to a whole month until June 2nd. It's dropping on the 4-year anniversary of the Iccy Show. So salute to you. I heard the song. It's fire, fire, fire. This international mixtape, we got Jamaica on there. We got Africa on there. We got um Puerto Rico on there. We got Boston on there. We got what else do we have on there? Chicago on there. I'm telling you, we have a little rap, reggae, reggaeton, slow blues. Um, it's a little of everything except for, it's not straight like a house mixtape. It's a
Mhm.
little variety of something, and it's only 14
Yeah.
tracks. But I'm telling you, these are bangers, and I salute to you. I heard it. I can't wait until you hear the
I-
finished copy when it comes out. You're gonna be like, "What?" It's
Thank you,
fire.
thank you. It was fun making it. I was, he gave me the beat and everything. And when I went to the studio, shout out to my man Sonny Brasco. He's my engineer, and he heard the beat. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's you right there." So I just went in, I wrote it. Like soon as you told me about it, and I got the beat and everything like that, I was like, "Let me see." Now I was under pressure because um
Because of me.
I'm about to go. I'm about to. I was doing so many things. Like I literally just got like right when you presented the mixtape, I was actually I just got promoted at my job, so I was switching hours. Like I was like 1 to 10. I've been 1 to 10 for like 4.5 years,
Oh wow.
and now I'm switching from 9 to 6. So right when you gave me that, I was in the middle of transitioning to, becoming that, and then other things was happening, and then I had a concert. Shout out to Marie Weldon, United Music Mafia. I performed "Power to My People," my first single that's out right now that you can actually listen and stream everywhere. I performed there, so right around that time I was busy, man. I was busy, so I just I rolled up a couple blunts and put on the beat, and I just got to work. And I actually was like looking at it like, well, since this is a mixtape, I said I'm not even gonna go hard like I used to. I said I'm not gonna go hard with two verses or anything. I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a page from one of my idols, 50 Cent, and what he'll do is he'll give you a chorus and a hook and another chorus, and that be that. And I still had room on the track, so what I did was I grabbed an interview that I did from Peace on the Streets Radio. It's actually the 1 year anniversary that I actually flew down to Florida and had my first actual real radio station interview. And I just put a clip of me, just dropping knowledge and talking a little bit about, myself in the second verse. So not only you can actually hear me rap on the first verse, but you can actually know a little insight about me as the artist and the person.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely. What is the best advice you've been given during your career?
Stay true to yourself. Don't um don't try to become another copy, a carbon copy of somebody else. Even if you are influenced by somebody, make sure there's things in you that stick out. There's things that's an artist that stick out, what separates you from everybody else. You might have dreads with different colors on them and face tattoos and tats all over your body, and you wearing skinny jeans with the damn Nike slides on with the socks on them. you know you might look like 100 million niggas out there, but if you telling me you a hip-hop artist or you a rapper and you look like everybody else, something about your music got to um, be identical from what we're hearing outside. Because what today is people, the trend, the trappers and people talking about, this, that, and the third. Everybody's talking about that. Everybody. So as you as an artist, if I listen to Gucci and I listen to you, or I listen to Young Thug or some other motherfucker, and you sound just like them, I'm not really going to pay you attention because you sound just like them.
Right.
Now it cuts with a double-edged sword because there's some people who don't mean to sound like, everybody. Like if you want to take example from the rapper Gorilla Black. Gorilla Black, he's from the West Coast. He's from Compton. But if you look at him and you hear him talk and you hear him rap, he look and sound just like Biggie. Even his cadence when he raps sound just like Biggie. Now, if he would have came out and today, he would have been like popping, like he would have been ill because people miss that. You know, they miss that Biggie side. And today, carbon copy music is what's out right now. So he would have definitely blew up today. But back in like 2004 and 2005, we still 10 years that Biggie Smalls been missed. Shout out to everybody from Junior Mafia and Biggie Smalls. His birthday was yesterday. He just turned 50. R.I.P. to the Notorious B.I.G. Brooklyn Stand Up. What up? You know, but it's just a lot of artists out here. Sometimes it's not your fault that you sound like other people. You know, you got to be original. You know, people since I started rapping, people always compared me to like 50 Cent and G Unit.
Right.
Always, because those were my biggest influences besides Eminem. You know, from that, I had to make my own lane so people wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, he sound like 50." Now, the only reason people might, you know, draw the connection is they might hear an influence here and there of certain songs, or by the way I dress. But I'm like, if you go to New York, this is what you see.
Right. That's normal.
You know, so I was like, you go to New York, this is what you see. Just like if I was from California, you would see me in some khakis. You would see me in, you would see me in stuff like that. You know, you would see me in Chucks. I got Tim's on right now. I'm East Coast, you know? So that's just what it is. But in my music is different from what 50's talking about. You know, I actually rap in Spanish. 50 don't really rap in Spanish or like that.
Right.
You know, me, I talk about, unifying the black and the brown within my music. I talk about education. I talk about history. You know, I talk about things that you can actually put on a record and you can actually get something from it.
Right. Right.
You know, education. So that's what like my main thing is. And if you're gonna be a rapper or a hip hop artist, please write your own lyrics. We don't like rappers who use ghostwriters. There's a lot of ghostwriters in the industry, and we do not claim them as top 5 or top 10 of all time. You can't be top 10 and you have an assist with a pen. Busta Rhymes said that.
Right.
He said that on Nori's podcast.
Exactly.
And a lot of artists and a lot of fans today really don't understand that you literally, like, I can show you right now. I got stacks of notebooks. My phone's sitting on a little mini suitcase that got about 18,000 notebooks right inside of it because that's all I do is write.
I love that.
You know,
I love that.
I'm an MC. I'm a writer. I feel like hip hop. I feel like, as far as hip hop is concerned, I feel like it's an autobiography. You can't say you the best DJ, but somebody else's hands is on the records. You can't say that you the best graffiti artist ever, and somebody else's name is tagged right on the artwork. You can't say you the best b-boy, but we never seen you break a dance move at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, when people, I just don't understand, when people get these rappers, and we know that there's rumors all around the industry that this dude do not write his own raps, but yet he's considered top 5, top 10. I don't get it. Like, these people, I look at them and I say, well, these are fans. These are fans. And we got a lot of old school rappers, don't get it twisted. We got a lot of old school rappers that, that has assists with the pen.
Right.
I just realized that Snoop Dogg, shout out to Snoop Dogg, but even Snoop Dogg had a ghostwriter. His ghostwriter actually had an interview. I forgot who the interview was, but he actually had an interview, and he was like, yeah, I wrote this and I wrote that. Not saying that Snoop Dogg later down the line didn't have, he didn't have a ghostwriter. He ended up writing on his own. From what I heard, people were saying that the whole Doggy Style album, he damn near freestyled that. And you could probably tell because I got the Doggy Style album. Some of the songs have the same bars in it. Have the same, little thing that track 1 might have kind of the same thing as track, 8 or track 13. So as far as being a hip hop artist, you got to write your own stuff, and you don't have to be gangster to be a hip hop artist. That's another thing. A lot of people think when you're a hip hop artist, you automatically have to be connected to some kind of gang or some kind of affiliation to be put on. And that's not actually what you have to do. To be honest with you, gangster rap was never supposed to be a part of hip hop. And Melly Mel said that. I watched the interview with Melly Mel. I feel like um, gangster rap had a lot of pros and it had a lot of cons. It had more cons than pros. And it's hard for me to say that because I grew up on gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on that element. I grew up in the hood. But when I take a step back from it and I actually look at it and I listen to OGs like Melly Mel and everything, hip hop was a genre, was not only a genre, but it was a movement. It was a culture that inner city black and brown kids, put together to have fun.
Right.
Hip hop honestly didn't start really picking up until after the white guys and the Jews started feeling like there could be some money made from it, and that's basically how it all boils down to it. People, they always really don't understand. You got rappers today who don't even know who even created hip hop. They don't know who DJ Kool Herc is. There's people today that it's funny. Isn't it funny? You have like racism in hip hop.
Right. It's true.
It's funny. Like there's like I done ran into some white people who go like hip hop isn't black music. I'm like, what do you mean it's not black music? It's definitely black music. The people who created hip hop were the quote unquote African Americans, Jamaicans, and Puerto Ricans. Those are the three people who created that genre within the inner city. I said, then when you got New York City as the Bronx, the inner city. So you got Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, and African Americans. Then you got the white kids who grew up around the people. Then you got the Asian people who grew up around them and started getting that. Then you got the Indian people and everything grow up around it. Same thing with reggaeton. Reggaeton is literally the same history that hip hop has, reggaeton has.
Right.
You look at you go to old school hip hop like this. Like my grandfather, he's a fan of hip hop now because back then he didn't really like hip hop because he felt like all rappers did was just talk. It wasn't no music. It was just talk. Until I think my grandmother's favorite rap song that actually turned her on into rap was Nelly's Air Force Ones. She loved Air Force Ones. That was her favorite song. My granddad ended up liking it too. And being that my granddad, he lives literally right behind my job, every day on my lunch break, I go and I chill with him for an hour. And me and him, we talk about any and everything. And while I'm gone, he'll watch TV and watch the awards or watch BET or watch music videos, and he comes back to me and say, "Hey Cam, the music industry this, or how's it in the industry this, or how you do this." He's really interested now. So you have the older generations who didn't really care for hip hop, just like you have the older generation on La Isla in Puerto Rico. You have the older generations who didn't care for reggaeton because reggaeton, actually, the real artists who actually first started reggaeton, they started talking about the harsh realities, on the streets. The same thing with hip hop, but the older people didn't want to hear all that.
Right. How do you feel?
So I think. What'd you say?
How do you feel about the artists wearing the dresses? Are you for that? For the guys to wear the dresses in the hip?
No. I think
if they gave you a contract of $1 million, would you do it?
Hell no. My manhood's not for sale. Why would I need to go that route to do it? I think basically.
Why are they doing that? That's what I don't understand. A guy.
Here's what I think. Because sometimes when you have organizations who don't understand that there's other organizations who's using that ploy to exploit them, and they're not really understanding that they're being exploited, but they think they're actually giving like a shout out, like for example with the LGBT, shout out to them. But I feel like that in the media actually exploits their lifestyle. I don't really think that people who have these artists who go around being this way really care about people who are actually part of LGBT. I don't think that they care. I just think it's for monetary gain, and then on top of that, what are you saying to the kids? Because if you look, and every time you have an artist and they do something wrong, and people go and say, well, what about the message to your kids?
Yeah.
The first thing out their mouth is saying, fuck the kids. I'm not a role model. Well, rather you say you a role model or not, you are a role model. Rather if you want to be or not, you're a celebrity. You have no choice but to be a role model because people see you on TV and they see how you interact. You know what I'm saying? So I remember there was a song that 50 Cent and Fat Joe was on. It was the first song that they actually collaborated on when they squashed their beef. And the song was called Free Again. And it was orchestrated by DJ K Slay, RIP to DJ K Slay, the drama king. But it wanted 50 in the verse of 50, 50 was like in '03 I had them niggas wearing vests. Now these niggas with dresses. I take you back to the essence, free of charge, and niggas so laws and niggas be stressing the blessing. You know, so it's like you gotta think when I was in 2003, when I seen 50 and everything, I was impressionable as a kid. I wanted to wear the bulletproof vests. I thought that shit was cool, but I actually wore bulletproof vests because I actually had beef. Like, damn near everybody in my high school called me 50 Cent because I was always in beef, and I would come to that motherfucker in a bulletproof vest. Everybody knew. So it's like, you know, when you got kids who are impressionable, what about that 11-year-old boy who was on the morning show, who was talking about him voguing in gay clubs and gay men throwing money at him as he's dancing?
Right.
Do you think that's a nice that's a nice thing to set for kids? Even if you feel like, you know, you a part of that, there should be a line to cross. Like, there should be a line that you shouldn't cross.
Right.
And the fact that the media is putting all of this in the vision of kids, and they're saying, well, kids need to know about this. No, kids don't need to know about this. I can't understand a 5-year-old talking about he's gay but can't even like know his 1, 2, 3s and ABCs. I think that's astronaut. Like, I think that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That he would even have that. That he would even have that. You know, concept. Or a little boy saying that he wants to be a girl when he was barely even a boy. How can you say you want to be a girl and you haven't even lived as a boy yet? What makes you think that? And the parents, and I blame the parents too, and I'm not really, I don't really want to say this, but I think it's the parents in my generation because uh, I think parents in my generation are weird as hell. But I said this before, I think that it's the anti-culture. If anybody knows about the anti-culture, in my college, I learned about the anti-culture with the 1950s. The 1950s, if you know about the 1950s, if you go into the suburbs, you can have like a whole street, and each house looked the same. House, white picket fence, the yard, and everything like that. The husband, the wife, the 2 kids, the dog. Every house had that same, you know, cookie cutter type of living until those kids grew up. And here come the 1960s with the hippies and the free love movement. So when you had that, you got the new generation rebelling against the old generation because they didn't like how the old generation raised them.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's happening in this day and age where, you know, cartoons didn't have too much. Like, cartoons when I was growing up, they had innuendos. They had innuendos that you wasn't supposed to get as a kid. Now, me watching cartoons at 31, the same cartoons I was watching when I was like 9, 10, or 11, I get those jokes now. I'm like, oh shit, I can't believe they put that in a fucking cartoon.
Me too. That's
But now, this shit's, yeah, like now this shit's like crazy. This shit's like, yo, I'm like, oh, they're blatant, you know, right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like the media portrays different things to try to get people to maneuver and be uh, uh, certain things that they want them to be. It's not necessarily the fact that they really care about you and care about your lifestyle. I think they're just trying to make monetary gains off of it.
Yeah.
And I think people need to wake up and honestly, you know, actually start thinking for themselves. You know, I don't get down with, you know, artists wearing a dress, and I'm saying that because no hate to the LGBT, but because I'm a copper colored young man. I feel like black men especially has been emasculated. So why would you want to go out there and perpetuate that whole stereotype of black men being emasculated? I mean, we looking, man. I just read a news clip that Tyler Perry said that he actually uses his Medea voice during sex.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I just threw up my whole dinner. Thank you.
And I'm not even looking at him. I'm looking at the women. Like,
What is
what makes
like?
you
What the?
think? Why does that turn you on?
That's disgusting.
You know, why does that turn you on? Him having sex with you and him talking his Medea. That's weird as hell.
Yeah.
You know. So, but like I said, as an artist, I feel like we should be teaching the new generations about, traditions. All traditions shouldn't be kept, but some traditions should be kept. That's what I'm feeling. And as far as being a man and a young black man, a young brown man, a young Boricua, a young Native American, all wrapped in one, I feel like my job as a hip hop artist, as an MC, is to pass knowledge, give hope to the people that look like me and anybody else who's willing to listen. That's my goal as being a hip hop. What the fuck do I look like walking around in a dress?
Right. It's so
Nah,
true. That's why I was like,
nah.
I had to
It's
ask
just,
you
it's
that.
just, it's just not me. It's
That's why
just, it's just not me.
I had to ask you. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him how does he feel because I just seen one yesterday, and I'm like, what the hell? It's like becoming a trend now, and it's like, you know, I like you said, we're supposed to set examples for the children. That's not setting an example for the children. The children should have their own decision and decide of what they want to be or how they want to be. But
As, as far
that's not
as
a
far as the guys wearing dresses, I feel like I feel like it's kind of the women's fault. Because I say it all the time. I said
I
if
think it's
women would
money.
actually if women would actually stand up and actually say, hey, I don't like you. You wearing a dress, you wearing skinny jeans, you wearing, all of this. I don't like you. But I guess it's this new generation of women that feel indifferent from it. You know what I'm saying? Because, um, women like who is older than me, like yourself, and I rock with older women. So the type of man that they are attracted to wouldn't be that at all.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? It
Like,
wouldn't
hell
be
no.
that because
How you ladies even date someone like that? It's money. Money is the root of all evil, and that's what it is. They getting paid all this money or a contract of this, and that's why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And
me personally, I wouldn't say that money's the root of all evil. I say it's what people make out of it because you have a lot of people doing good with money. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to roll pennies. My stepfather, he used to pay me in pennies. I cleaned the house from top to bottom early in the morning, Saturday and Sunday mornings, top to bottom. And he would pay me in pennies. Now, I would have like a jar this big with all these pennies and I roll them. Come to find out, to my surprise, I only have like $10.
um,
But he, my mom and him, they opened up a savings account. They opened up, I had, uh, stipends. I had a bond and everything like that. So, um, my stepdad, what he would do is he would like pay me in pennies, and he would be like, okay, take these pennies and you do whatever you want with them. I would take my pennies. I'd take like $5 worth of pennies, and I would go downtown and start like giving it to the homeless people
that's dope.
or people doing big money and doing things for the kids. Like I drove past my old Boys and Girls program. I do it on the daily because it's on my way to work and on my way home. It's a little school now. But I was thinking, I said, whatever happened to all the Boys and Girls Clubs around the area? Nobody funded them anymore.
No, they closed them. I was actually just
Yeah.
at one talking before I came to you on here. I was talking to an afternoon program. It's Friday nights. From it's only a couple of hours, but it's for teenagers, only teenagers. And it's like from 13 or 12 to 8, no, 12 to 16, that's what it is. And it's about, they talk about like sex, things like that. So um you know, they think I'm younger than when I say what I am, and I've been through a lot. So when I talk to them, they listen, supposed to someone that's in, like, the 50s that haven't been through it, or some people that are 40s and they haven't been through it. So when I sit there and I talk to them, I tell them the real facts. They're already cussing, so it's like I cuss, but I try not to cuss in front of them. But you should hear the mouth on these kids. These kids are 5-year olds saying "fuck you," but. I'm like, 5 years old. How was
Yeah,
that?
and that goes back to the
I,
parents. The parents should be held accountable for that.
that's
I remember my mom. She cussed me out one time. I actually slipped up. We was watching the third Anaconda movie. We was in a movie theater, and the dude who played in 8 Mile, the one who had sex with M's girl, he was in that movie. And he was a little bitch in that movie too. So I went and I called him a cunt, and my mom jumped on my ass. She was like, "Do you even know what a cunt is?" Da 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 da.
how old were you?
So, but I was actually like maybe 13, 12 or 13. But
13.
with
I would have
my
got
mom,
pepper. I would have got soap in my mouth. What?
yeah, like my mom, she was one of them. So it's like, and then like you also need fathers too. Shout out to the '90s babies. I'm actually seeing a lot of fathers in my age bracket than before. I never really seen a large influx of fathers being in their children's life, like that. Now, excluding my family, because my whole side of my dad's family, all the men take care of their kids, rather if they're with the woman or not, you know. So that's a part of me, you know. So, but I'm starting to see a lot of fathers in their families, and fathers are just as important as mothers.
Yeah.
Now, there's some mothers who go in, like my mom, who's raising children on their own, and you can raise children on your own, but you do got to understand, if you have a boy, you can't raise that boy to be a man. You have to have a man who's actually a man, not a grown man who acts like a boy, but a grown man who is actually a man who could teach that boy what it is to be a man. I had conversations with women before, and they think all a man. They were like, "Well, I take my son baseball, and I teach my son how to fight, and I teach my son how to do this." I said, "That's really not how. That's really not what being a father is all about. Just the physical stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why I get mad when women go when it's Father's Day, be like, I'm the mother and the father. No, stay in your lane. You're a mother. Quit trying to hog it all. You're a mother. You don't see fathers going around saying, I'm a mother. Nah, we don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, we as a group, we have to, be unified.
Right.
Men and women have to be unified for the children, for children to actually, actually learn how to function when they get older. Sometimes they turn crazy on their own, even with two parents in a household, and they have a good household. That's the decision that kid makes.
Right.
You have decisions everywhere. You got a kid who comes from a fucked up, background, and actually becoming a real productive person in society. You
Right.
might have a kid who comes from a nice background, is affluent, and had never won for anything, and become the next serial killer.
Yeah.
So it's all about individual thought. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
It's totally, and I totally agree. If you have a son and the father, you can stay in contact with the father. I definitely recommend having the father in the child's life 100%. They say mama's boy, daddy's girl, but a man always needs a man in its life. And
See,
that's
I was the opposite. I'm even till this day, I'm a daddy's boy. I always been close with my father. Always. Always. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but I actually draw. I actually was drawing way before I was a rapper. I started rapping when I was like 9. I started drawing when I was 1, laying on my dad's chest, drawing on a piece of paper. You know, I had that gift ever since I was born. So My father, even if I was a kid, my father would sit down and talk to me like a man. He talked to me. He didn't talk to me like no kid. He talked to me like a man. He sat me down. If I did anything wrong, he sat me down and told me why the things that I was doing was wrong and why it wasn't okay for me to do that. That's what he did.
Yeah, that's what I
My
do.
dad never.
I do the same
Yeah,
thing. And I had someone say, "Oh, you're too honest with your son." I said, "No, I'm not too honest. I mean, they're saying you're too open with your son. He's too young. My son's 11. The generation now, you have to, like what you said, you've been taught that, and that's important because I'll be honest. I'll tell my son, you can't do that because of this. I'll be honest, no matter what the situation is. You have to be honest with these children so they can learn the bad from the good. And I'm glad your stepdad was there. You said your stepdad, right?
yeah. My mom, she after my father and my mom broke up, they broke up when I was 3. And then my father, he was still around, but my mom and him had issues. And my mom, she remarried when I was like around, I want to say 7, and we was up with him until I was like 11 or 12. They got a divorce, so I was back, being with my mom permanently. But in between those times when I was 11, my father, he was like, I ended up running away from home, and the thing was about it was me and my mom, we had issues, and she couldn't understand that all I did was just miss my father. That's all I did. I needed my father in my life. So when she realized that, she was like, you know what? If he wants to go with his father, if he wants to be with his father, and the feeling was mutual between me and my father. My little sister was born, so it was the two of us with my father plus my stepmom. Shout out to my stepmom, and I was blessed to have different people around me. Like I had not only my mom, I had my father, I had my older sister. Shout out to my older sister. I had my stepmom, my stepdad. I had my great grandmother. I had her daughter, which I called my nana. On my dad's side, I had my dad's mom, my grandmother. I also had my adopted grandfather, which is the guy that I actually see him every day on my lunch break. I see him like me and him is just about as close as me and my father.
That's nice. I love that.
I run errands for him. I do things for him. He does things for me. That's just how a family unit is supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
you
good.
know, uh,
What stayed in your dad's life, and your mom gave you that option of to go with your you know the dad. She didn't keep you away from your dad. I hear a lot of mothers.
uh, a little. She might have did that in the beginning. I don't want to shit on my mom, but there was definitely
You
some
see your
tension
face.
between.
You should have seen your face. I wish I could have pressed that and pause right there. Yo, your eyes. Oh shit, that was hilarious.
I'm not trying to shit on my mom or anything like that, but there was definitely some issues going around that time, um to the point where that's the reason why I ran away, was because I wanted to get away from her. I was like anybody but her at that point, and I needed my father. I really needed my father, and my father needed me as well. I'm his firstborn. I'm my mom's second born. I'm her only boy. I'm my father's only boy, So at that point in time, I really needed my father. And I think women, even if you're having issues with your child's father, and that's why I tell people, I say, when you get into a relationship, please, please, please understand, if you are going to have a child with a person, please see if you actually want to be with that person long term. People always say, well, shit happens. I'll be like, yeah, shit happens, but there's shit that goes on in the beginning of the relationship that you can easily back out of and say, nah, I'm cool.
Back.
But people are toxic. The guys are toxic, the women are toxic, so they'll both of them end up in toxic relationships and have a toxic baby,
Yep.
have a toxic family and a toxic relationship and everything. So, you know, everything that you do plays a part of, what goes on in the future. So if you see a woman, you got to make sure Before you shoot inside her club, make sure is that the woman that you actually want to be with. If you're a woman and you see a guy, you know, make sure that's the guy that you want to actually spend not just a few months with, not just, you know, this, that, and the third. And people don't work out anything anymore either.
No.
People get mad and upset and then just call it quits. And then, you know, it is what it is. You know,
A lot of
it's
cheating.
sad that
A
people
lot of
go through.
cheating. They're
What do
not
you say?
loyal. I said there's a lot of cheating, no loyalty. Um, people don't take loyalty as serious as like we do, or at least I do. I know you're loyal too, but I'm saying like, people say, "Oh, I'm loyal." How you loyal if you're fucking having three different females or two different females, and then you expect to, be loyal to that person that you're supposed to be loyal? That's not being loyalty. It's not at all. Look
Well,
around.
a lot of it is miscommunication.
Hmm.
That's what it is. Miscommunication and miseducation.
Yeah.
People don't understand the dating and the courting process. It's like a guy will see a girl, be like, "Damn, she fine as hell. I gotta holler at her." First thing in his mind is he trying to hit.
Yeah.
That's that's what it is. Women do the same thing too.
Yeah.
Women look at a guy and be like, "Yo, yeah, that's the person that I want to smash." But when they go in and they start talking to these people, that's the only thing that's on their mind right now is to smash. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have enough time to actually get to know the person and see if this is the person that I actually want to, you know, be cool with and chill with and vibe with on a daily basis. They're all going off of hormones, you know, and then, you know, you get people who are emotionally unstable, who can't handle being in a relationship and everything. And maybe that other person is, and that other person, because they're blinded by the looks or something like that, or blinded by some other things, that they ended up actually continuing the relationship. Meanwhile, the relationship was actually doomed from the beginning because nobody wasn't on the same damn page. Now, if you want to go and have a one night stand and everything like that, or have fuck buddies, that's cool. But you gotta also understand there's a line that can't be crossed, and both parties actually have to talk those things out. Nobody talks anymore. I hate when people will be like, "Oh yeah," instead of saying I'm dating that person, yeah, we talking. Well, what y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Y'all talking? What that mean? You know, so I think people they just don't understand, definitions of something. When you dating, it's like, would you get mad if you was dating a man? Y'all go out on a couple of dates, and then you find out he's dating some other woman, or he's on a date with another woman.
Hell yeah. He didn't give me the respect
Why?
because he didn't give me the
Why?
respect as as a woman that I am. You know, I give the respect to him. If you're dating somebody, you should notify and be like, "Yo, I'm also dating other people." Give that lady an opportunity to know if she wants to be with a guy that's dating other people or just a one-on-one. Because there's females out there. I myself do not want to be with someone that's dating other people. I want one and only. That's it. Because if I'm giving him my 100, I would expect the 100 back. You know what I'm saying? 50-50.
You you you
I would like
you know.
me the option if I want to date someone that is dating other people. Don't say that, "Oh, I'm dating um you," and then find out that you're dating another person. Like, what the heck? Like, then you know what I'm saying?
Well, let let me put you on game, and this is game for everybody. It's okay to date other people. You know why? Look at speed dating. When people go out on speed dating, right? Speed dating, they go and it be like about 20 people there. And they got like 5 tables. And you go and you do the musical chairs and shit like that, and people talk for 5 minutes and everything. Dating is not the word for relationship or going steady. Dating is for people to get to know people to see if you are that type of person that I actually want to have a relationship with. That's where the disconnect gets messed up because people think, "Oh yeah, we're dating." Okay, but are y'all exclusive or are y'all just going through the motions to see if you are that type of person that I actually want to continue having a relationship with. So if if you was with a guy and a guy you was dating like another guy on a different date, you're not wrong for that because y'all, it's not like y'all are exclusive and not like y'all a couple. Actually, at that point in time, y'all really shouldn't even be talking about that. Y'all should actually try to get to know that person multiple times before you actually transition and say, you know what, I've been dating other people, but I actually want to say, I feel like you are the best person for me out of all the people that I dated. So I want us to be in a relationship. That's how it should go. You know what I'm saying? That's how people should actually, courtship. I'm watching Girlfriends and Joan, played by Ellis Ross, Diana Ross's daughter. You know, she has this 3 month rule. Now, at that point in time, the 3 month rule was crazy because a guy was not trying to wait 3 months to have sex. But I actually respect that because that gives just enough time for you to spend time with that person to see if that person's actually willing, good enough, or actually worthy enough for you to give up your goodies.
Right.
People just give up the goodies on the first date
Right.
and then wonder why the relationship didn't work. Well, they already got what they wanted.
Right. It's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they just need to peep game. That's what it is. They just need to peep game and actually, go back to the old school. Back in my grandfather told me all the time. There was women that he wanted, and they waited a long time for them to give up anything.
Mm-hmm.
It took them like a few weeks just to even get a kiss. Because women at that time, they valued, not saying that women don't value themselves now, but I'm saying women at that time, at that time, teenage pregnancy was taboo. If you was a teenager and you had a kid, they ship your ass off somewhere.
True.
You know, they either ship your ass off somewhere, and when the baby comes, they tell everybody that's your little brother or your little sister, or unfortunately, they go to the chop shop. The chop shop. So
It's
that's
crazy.
that's just the crazy. That's
Yeah,
just crazy.
it's definitely crazy. There's a lot of things too that is crazy too. Be careful as an artist. Um, and there was a show that was supposed to happen in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Come to find out, the people that were throwing it were just taking the money from people. There was a couple in the music industry. They don't even live in the state of Boston over here, and they were taking money, and so it was going to his cash app, and they were saying this artist particularly was coming to Cambridge to perform, and that's in the industry, and he's not even coming. And I did the research because I'm like, wait a minute, let me see, because I don't see no promotion on this artist, the one that's in the industry. I have him like his personal page. I don't see no promo. And so one of my friends was on that bill. So I said to him, I said, I don't think he's coming. He's like, nah, he's coming. This person said that they are. Why did they back out of the situation if if the artist isn't coming and if it's their cash
Mm-hmm.
app? So as you as an artist, be real careful. There's a lot of slime stuff going on with people saying that this big artist is coming for a show, and they don't end up performing or coming. And if you look up on Middle East on their website, they didn't have that artist coming on June 19th on my birthday. There's, they have two different
Mm.
other artists coming. So anyone that was going to the June 19th at the Middle East and you expecting that big artist in the industry to be there, he's not coming. Do your research. Don't keep on sending that money to that cash app because it's false. And Middle East, they
Right.
deal with the Ticketmaster, and a lot of places around, they deal with the
Mm-hmm.
Ticketmaster. So be very careful, artists around the world. You too, Rapstar, because I know you go perform around everywhere. Be careful when you guys are booking um, venues, thinking this particular person's gonna be there and you're opening up for. Because my other boy got ripped off $500 He thought he was performing at a different event. So this is what's going on right now. So there's a lot of scam happening. So be really vigilant. How do you say it? Like open, like, you know what I'm saying, like do your research, because I did my research and I wasn't even, I was just my plan was to go because it's my birthday. I was going to the
Right.
show and my boy was performing, so I was going to go show support for him. And come to find
Mm-hmm.
out, I started doing my research. I'm like, something's not added up. If these two people backed out, but if you go to the flyer, it goes to his Cash App. I'm like, why is it going to his Cash App? That person does, they're not even from here in Boston, first of all. They
Right.
never had a show out here, first of all. Second of all. So it was a lot of red flags. So I started doing my research from my friend. And because he was promoting for the show that he thought he was going to be open. I'm like, stop saying it, because my people are questioning me now about that flyer. I'm like, I don't think he's
Right.
coming. So I looked, I called the club. They said, no, he's not coming here. I looked on the website, nothing there. I looked on the artists in the industry, nothing for promo. And you got to be really do your homework when all these artists want these shows, but then there's a lot of scams happening too, so you have to be
Right.
very cautious in the industry when you put
And this is only on a small level too. We gotta also understand that there's um scams even in the big time in the major leagues. There's scams out there too. So yeah, definitely artists, please be careful. That's why, like, the people that I rock with, we're all connected. We're all connected in so many different ways. The people that I'm, doing promotions with, the people who promote me, the people I support, the people who support me, you know, it's like I can go on your page and there's like at least about maybe 150 mutual friends we got just because of our circle. You know, you know, I fuck with you, so that means you fuck with Bev Bush. That means you fuck with Brenda. That means you fuck with Veronica. That means you fuck with Marie. So it's like all the people that I'm circling around, we can vouch for each other, who is where and who is what and who's who. I might go outside that circle and fuck with somebody else, but if I find, like, if it's something funny, I can always go to my circle and be like, hey, have you ever heard of this person or that person? You always got to have a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion, on everything, you know. So yeah,
That's why I cut
artists,
my
please be
circle
careful.
down, and I don't fuck with everyone, for real, for real. I don't fuck with a lot of people. I fuck with Legal Mob Entertainment, and I fuck with you, Rap Star. But anybody else, I don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it real. And I had to cut off a lot of people. A lot of people, using my name, throwing it for this show, saying this and saying that to get to this person. No, that's not how it goes. I've been in this music industry since 2008, hosted mad clubs around here, had 7 days a week. I've hosted mixtape. I hosted, you name it, I done it, had record labels underneath me, so it's a lot of people that you gotta watch out that might be in your circle. You gotta really watch it and do your homework, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of snake shit happening in Boston right now that people aren't too happy with some people that
Mm.
put in that song, that show together. So I fuck with Legal Mob Entertainment. I fuck with all my supporters, the real supporters. I fuck with you, Rap Star. I fuck with Beautiful Danger. But those, shout out to Zulia Warriors. But that's it on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? What you do, that's you. You know what I'm saying? But I just gotta clarify my name right there, because I don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's all love to you. Rapstat does my flyers. I love the one he just recently did. You did the one with the blue with the icing, and then you put your Rapstar logo with the stuff. Yo, that shit's hard. I really like that. And shout out to CJ. He did his thing doing the 3D flyer with the music in the
Yeah,
back.
that
Shout
was
out to
some
my
CJ.
people.
It's crazy because I just had like a little I just yesterday I had like a little a mock show. I'm starting my podcast up soon, real soon. We're actually going on 4 years now. The 3 years we was on Blog Talk Radio just with the audio. Now we transition into what is it, StreamYard, And now we're gonna do, instead of doing the audio when people call in, they can actually see us. And we had our second mock one yesterday, and I was just telling them about one of the stories that I was talking about was artificial intelligence. It was like a robot. Scientists made this robot, and it was supposed to act, look, feel, have a conversation, the mannerisms of an actual human. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And at the end of the interview, the robot said, "There's only one thing that separates me between me and a human." And the guy said, "What's that?" And the robot said, "I don't have a soul." And I was just saying, I was like, it's crazy because you got these super geniuses who um create these things. For the intro of the actual radio show, of our radio show, they actually put my song "Power to My People" as the intro of our, of our show. And the person, they orchestrated to where you're like walking inside of like a theater, doors open, there's a red carpet and everything, and it has the show, it has me, it has STL, my other host. Shout out to STL. And I was like, that is just so amazing how people can actually do that on their phones, on the computers. I mean, it even goes deeper to where at my job, I work at Home Depot, I'm at the pro desk, and I happen to look over, and one of the guys at the pro desk is building a deck on a software that's a 3D software, and he's building a deck. He had got different kinds of lumbers and screws, and you can turn it this way and make it look like this. I was like, that is so dope. I want to learn how to do that. So I always give props to people who can actually use technology to benefit, some type of way. That stuff is always dope. Shout out to CJ for that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. How did you? I tried StreamYard a couple of times, and it used to freeze on me. Have you had any of that yet?
Actually, that funny how you said that, because when they was showing me the finished project of my intro, and when I did the interview between me and my other host, there was no skipping, there was no stalling, uh but on the intro of the video that has my song, there was some skippage, in there. So I don't know if StreamYard, because they said they didn't have a problem with it, but I had a problem with it on my phone. I told them I would look into maybe updating my phone to see if I can download something that's compatible to StreamYard to make the video work better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, uh, the intro was just choppy. I didn't really look at the whole thing. Like when they showed it the first time, it was choppy. I literally didn't see until like the very end, until they did something, and then they brought it back. I watched it over, and I started to watch more than what I seen the first time. So I don't know about StreamYard. I really don't. But on my end, I did have some choppiness on my end.
Yeah,
I
I was
did.
gonna switch because everyone, everyone has their opinion. I appreciate everyone's opinion and stuff. But I was going to switch from Facebook to StreamYard a year ago when I dropped my website, and I noticed that it like the first three interviews I did, the first one it started going, then it blacked them out completely. Then I did another one, and it was just chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping. When I went to go get back on, it wouldn't let us get back
Mm-hmm.
on. It was just a bunch of BS. So then I tried it a third time, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going back to Facebook. I used to use MySpace. It was no problem, but I'm bringing MySpace back. I've been saying it for the last year, and I'm in the process of doing it. But MySpace never gave me a hard time. And then now
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, they've been good to me. The only thing is, like, if I play music on the background, then it gets frozen. So that's the only thing. And I think the day you and I had our interview scheduled and how we couldn't get you on, I think someone hacked into us because I there's only been three different interviews I haven't been able to have. And one,
Mm-hmm.
the person didn't update their Facebook, so they had to do that. Two, um, they were out of the country, so they had to be up in the mountain. It was real complicated. And then three, um, they got hacked. Like it was like someone was not, every time we went on, it would like block them out. Every time the same thing like you. So I felt like someone was hacking us that night when we were trying to have this interview a month ago. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I'm glad that we waited because we got to talk about the international mixtape that you're on. I'm so excited to have you. I was scared that you weren't gonna get on it. You had me a little stressed, but you know I'm happy that you did get on it. And shout out to again to Beverly Bush having her two artists on this international mixtape. An international mixtape is very hard to get on if you are an artist. To find other
Mm.
great artists around the world to get on it, and then she has two artists. She has CJ and she has Rap Star. So that's major. Shout out again to Beautiful Danger, doing her thing with
Yeah.
these two amazing artists. One's a R&B, one's a rap. How do you say reggaeton? Would you say or reggae?
Re- I say it with the accent, the Puerto Rican accent. So you say reggaeton,
But
reggaeton,
that sounds so
reggaeton.
sexy, but no disrespect.
You got,
Like, you know, I know you're
you
married,
gotta,
but
you
I'm
got,
saying like the way you
you,
say you sounded
you gotta
professional.
roll. You gotta roll your R's with it,
And
yo.
I
You know,
can't.
I
My
get
tongue's not cut,
Oh man,
so I can't
yeah,
roll no
yeah.
R's. But that doesn't affect anyway.
Damn.
Anyway. Yo, we're gonna keep it live on the Iccy Show. I'm talking about 2022, the huge year for the Iccy Show. This is 4 years. Rap stars know me for the 4 years I've been on for the Iccy Show. Salute to him. I appreciate you. You made a lot of flyers for me during these 4 years, and I'm very grateful for you helping me keep on going to where I'm at, and you keep on supporting me. And shout out to your manager again. Um, Beverly Bush doing her thing. I appreciate you. Much love and respect. And I'm waiting to get on her movie when she comes out with her witches movie. I'm looking forward to being on that.
Oh
And
yeah.
that I know it's gonna be a dope movie because you know, I don't know. I when she talked about it to me, I gave her some credit. So shout out to you, Bev. I love you so much, and you know, keep on going, and you know, don't let no one stop you. For real, for real. You're doing a great job. And
You know what's
Rapstar,
crazy?
so you know that
Yeah.
because I know that you don't know about the mixtape, but just so you know, it's not. I had someone say, well, it's not house. It's not supposed to be house. It's mixed tape. So you get a little R&B, a little rap, a little what? How do you say it?
Reggaeton.
Yes.
Reggaeton.
Yes, it's soul. It's a little bit of everything, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a mixtape that was international. One, two, I wanted to be a little of everything because when you go to a party and you listen to a mixtape and it's that drill music, it's the same thing, and or how do you say the auto tunes, that's to me it gets boring. It sounds all the same thing. You know, you want a variety. Some people like when we
Yeah, cause it's like those people. I feel like those people they just trying to copy a sound, and it's like it's the same thing as what I tell people about writing. If you have a song that is for auto tune, that's cool. But if you keep making records, and everybody keep making records, and they all got the auto tune in it, what make it so special when about 50 other motherfuckers in the room is using auto tune too? You know, people don't actually. If your biggest hit has um auto tune on it, and all the records you come out with it has auto tune on it, and then you decide to actually rap or sing without it, motherfuckers gonna look at you like, oh, is that what you really sound like?
yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, it is just what it is, but um with the mixtape, that's what a mixtape is supposed to be. I didn't make mixtapes for myself just by riding around. It got mixes between like 50 in the G. I might have like 50 on track one, Britney Spears on track two, Dawn O'More on track three, the Dixie Chicks on track four, um freaking I got like Fantasia on track five, Aaliyah on track six, Toby Keith on track seven, Aqua, the people who made the Barbie song on the next track. So you have different varieties because you might have like a different mood and a different reaction to each track that you have. If you have a whole CD and the whole CD has trap, the only mood that you want to be in is trap. You know what I'm saying? And plus, you're not going to be able to get that. You know, you ever had a mixtape and you pop it in, and you got the first track on, and then when the second song come on, you go, oh shit, that's my. I forgot about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it gets you like hyped and everything because when it's a mixtape, you get different flavors from it, and you get different feelings from it. So that's exactly what a mixtape. I think people need to do their research and know what the fuck a mixtape actually is. Before 50 Cent, because 50 Cent, give you a little hip hop history. 50 Cent is the reason why mixtapes are what they are right now. I mean, mixtapes aren't as big as it was in the early 2000s because everything's digital now. But uh, before 50, mixtapes consist of various of artists spitting 16s, you know, freestyling and everything like that. Or you have a mixtape full of different artists, all from different genres, different camps, different sides, and it's like a big compilation. That's a mixtape. Well, 50 did it. 50 did it out of, I don't want to say desperation, but I want to say it was desperation because it was right around the time after he got shot in 2000. Right after he got shot and he healed up, the record labels that he was on, Columbia Records, end up dropping him. This is where when people don't, when people watch like Get Rich or Die Trying, remember he was trying to go to all these different record labels and they wasn't trying to fuck with him and everything. His words, he said that Irv Gotti and Ja Rule was the ones who were actually blackballing him from New York City hip hop. That's why he came out with independent mixtapes and treating them like they were actually albums. He came out with 50 Cent is the Future. He came out with No Mercy, No Fear, God's Plan. You know, these are independent mixtapes that he put out featuring Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks. And Eminem ended up getting a hold of the mixtape and flew him to the West Coast because he was getting blackballed in New York so much. He had to go and leave the state to another coast to get that, you know, to get that deal. You know what I'm saying? So after when 50 started doing that, then he started doing the G Unit Radio mixtapes, which is about like 25 volumes, you know, from like early 2003, and I think the last one was like 2000 and what, 11, 12, maybe 2009, 2010, because I think the last one was, I want to say 2007 and 2008 with Sabrina's Baby Boy, G-Unit Radio Part 25. And then right after, they ended up coming out with Return of the Body Snatchers. Right after that, with their DJ Who Kid. Right after that was Elephant in the Sand, where they dedicated a whole mixtape dissing Fat Joe on that one. And, you know, like I said, when you a hip-hop artist, or you in hip-hop, you a rapper. If you say you a rapper, that means you're only pigeonholing yourself into one little box. That's why I don't like to say I'm a rapper, even though I say I'm a rap star. Rap is a part of the element of hip hop that I do, but I'm actually hip hop. There's people that come and tell me, I had people come and tell me, you can rap, but I don't really like your music because you hip hop. I like rap. They don't like, you know, I got people who, you come and tell me who was one of the greatest of all times, and I say LL Cool J. People would say, nah, Tupac was better than him. No, that's your opinion, and Tupac is one of the greatest of all times. But you also got to understand who came before who. If it wasn't for LL, would be no Pac.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for Bone Thugs, there would be no Migos.
Facts. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? All that rapping fast and everything like that. People think that that's something new. West Coast niggas used to rap fast. Snoop and all of them, Daz, Corrupt, Lady, they all used to rap fast. Jay-Z in the 80s used to rap fast. Hawaiian Soapy fame, you know. Did people ever heard of Jigga What? Jigga Who? Motherfuckers want to act local, hit them up. Numerous shots with the fofo. Like, come on, people was doing that way before that. So when you got people, and it's only the young motherfuckers who think so, because they're now old enough to understand how hip hop has progressed and how certain artists took a little bit of something of anybody else. You know, anybody who knows hip hop know that Nicki Minaj is basically today's version of Little Kim.
Yep.
Same with Megan Thee Stallion. Same with Cardi B. They use that Little Kim Queen Bee blueprint.
What about
Everything that you see today. What do you say?
What about Remy Ma? What do you think? You think she's like Little Kim?
Nah, she's different from Lil Kim. She's different. She got her own style. Little Kim is more of the sexy gangster. I would say Remy Ma is more like a Foxy Brown than a Little Kim because they both got that hardness to them. They both like they both got that hardness to them. You know what I'm saying? Like Remy's from the Bronx, and everybody know that Bronx is you know, people from the Bronx move different. They're a lot edgier. They're a lot harder, you know. But with Kim, you know, like with Kim and Remy, like I'm a fan of both of them. Like I was playing when they was dissing each other. I was playing both diss records from Remy and Kim. You know, I don't know about this. You know, but every female rapper today that's on right now, you know, they have a blueprint. It's basically a blueprint of what everybody else thinks. People might say, "Oh, Nicki Minaj is not like Lil Kim." I'll be like, "Go back and study. Go back and study how she's squatting with a lollipop and see that same squat was on her hardcore album." I know because I got every Lil Kim album. I got Lil Kim shirts. I got I got this 3D shirt of myself on my 4th magazine issue. Shout out to International Magazine.
Stand up. Let me see.
For that.
Let me. I was expecting you to have a Kango hat on today. That's what I was expecting you to have.
A Kango hat. I'm gonna show you. This is the shirt right here.
That's dope.
It got me. I actually had the Kango on.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can actually get the actual magazine, because like shout out to IMM for that. They definitely did their thing right here. Here go the magazine right here, and that's what's on my shirt.
Is that the magazine? Is it the lady? Is it a lady that owns that magazine company?
No, it's a gentleman. It's a gentleman actually from the Middle East. From the Middle East, actually.
Oh, okay. Salute.
Yeah. Yeah. So so that's just how it is. So I got Little Kim shirts. People when they see me, like people understand. Like there's like 3 artists that nobody can't tell me anything wrong about. That's M. That's 50. And that's Lil Kim. Like those I got 5 MCs that actually, like if you were to take like 5 MCs and have like 5 MCs like raise you and actually be the person that you are, like like that's mommy, that's daddy, that's big brother, that's this, that, and the third and everything, they all family. The 5 MCs that I say that would be a part of my immediate family that raised me would be M, 50, Little Kim, LL Cool J, and DMX. RIP to DMX.
I know. That's crazy. I went to see the mural. That shit was crazy.
My man who hooked me up with X, he's still heartbroken about it. He couldn't talk about it for a while because he vibed with him and he broke down and told him, how much like he meant to him growing up. Like he was literally like a person that taught him how to be a man and how to handle certain situations and everything. He couldn't talk about it for a minute, because of that, because he was dealing with not only X's death, but he was dealing with other people in his family's death and everything. Shout out to True Live. But it when DMX died, that was like, we had a lot of hurt pieces too. A lot of hurt pieces. People passing away in hip hop, from Kango Kid. Shout out to UTFO. Shout out to the Real Roxanne. Kangle Kid. Anybody who knows 80s hip hop, Kangle Kid was a part of the, UTFO. He passed away. I think he had cancer. I don't remember, but I think he passed away from that. Black Rob, he died shortly after X. DJ K Slay. DJ K Slay was another. He was another big thing of my childhood. Because me and my father, how I got into hip hop was my father would play old school hip hop records, and he would buy mixtapes, and he would buy DJ Clue, he would buy DJ Envy, he would buy Love De Niro, he would buy DJ Who Kid, Green Lantern, and he would also buy DJ K Slay. I remember the Street Wars mixtapes. I remember him having all of these artists who had issues with each other and they was battling. And that was it. And then him having to be the first record that 50 Cent and Fat Joe made for each other when they squashed the beef, and he, was that bridge. Just like he had the Jadakiss and Queen Latifah, the Living Legends joint. He was a major influence on my childhood, becoming a rapper. I listened to all of them. So it's even like, even now I have this I downloaded this song, a 50 Cent song, and it's called what's it called? It's called what's it? Officer Down. He made this song right when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and he the movie came out, and he had a song with I forgot what the other rapper he was featuring is, a Jamaican rapper. I forgot what his name was, but there was a DJ who was on that mix, and it was DJ Whiteout. DJ Whiteout was the one who passed like a few years ago too. I used to listen to him too. So me being a hip hop artist, and I see hip hop artists dropping like crazy. I mean, from the young artists being shot up and overdosing to the older motherfuckers dying from either an overdose or health problems. It's mind boggling. Like, people in hip hop is dying faster than niggas out in the street.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think what we need to do is, I think there should be like a whole organization dedicated to people in hip hop for like health benefit, some type of benefit.
Yeah.
Because when you go to places like, Home Depot, or you go to places like, UPMC, or you go to places, these big corporations, they got health plans already in the system.
Right.
What if we had a health plan for artists to take care of their well-being?
Yeah.
They're no different. They're going to work just like the people go out every day and go to work. They're working too. How come their not health is important?
Yeah.
With that lifestyle, you get, the drugs, you get, all the loose shit. You get, me and my little cousin, I remember we had a conversation one day, and we was talking about who was it? The other rapper that died. I forgot his name. He was a young rapper, and I was saying that if you are a rapper and most of your music is about killing niggas and selling drugs and trapping and everything like that, you can't really blame the outcome.
Right.
Because if you wasn't a part of, if you was not a part of the solution, you was a part of the problem.
Right.
Now, there is freak accidents like Nipsey Hussle actually giving back to his, community, and him getting killed, in his own neighborhood. But I feel like at the same time, people try to put being real, or try to be keeping it real, like, oh, when I get big, I'm never coming, I'm never leaving the hood, I'm still going to do this, I'm still going to do that. Why? If you just was on a flight around the world, seeing places that people who are hating on you in the hood will never go to, why would you come back to the hood? And even if you did come back to the hood, if you that connected to the hood, don't you have people in the hood be like, hey, yo, I got my ear to the street, some dude saying this, that, and the third. I mean, the streets talk.
Yeah. Also,
Even if you ain't in the hood at the moment, you still got homies that you cool with that's in the hood too. How come you don't have people with you looking for your back, but people think because you have protection means you a coward or you scared. That don't make you a coward, and you should be scared because there's people out there who don't give a damn about your well-being, who don't care taking your life. They don't care you got kids and you trying to, be the
Fact.
best person you
Eat
can
that
be,
shit
so
right
you can.
now.
Yeah, like people, they just don't care about that. They don't give a damn about your well-being because 9 times out of 10, they don't give a damn about themselves.
Fact.
There's motherfuckers that be like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I got a face tattoo because I got a record and I'm never going to get a good job, so I'm gonna just get a face tattoo. I be like, well, what do you look like with a face tattoo and you 60? Oh, that's because you don't think you gonna make it past 25. You know what I'm saying? So if people's not gonna have your well-being, so you gotta have your well-being. So if you plan on maneuvering through the hood and everything like that, please have some kind of protection because you're a celebrity now. Even the president, did you know like the presidents didn't have Secret Service until Kennedy.
That's true.
Kennedy got shot in the head, and we didn't learn this. You mean to tell me we haven't learned this from Lincoln? Lincoln got his noodles blown out. So Kennedy riding around the president, they gotta have protection too. So if you moving that good, you should have some protection, or you should have people that be watching your back because no celebrity, especially a rapper, should ever be getting killed in his own neighborhood.
Right.
That's your home. You grew up there. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why you should be going out there. But people have different opinions about it. Like I said, me and my little cousin, he tells me, he was like, well, sometimes you can't get out of it. Well, why not? You ain't in the hood right now. You over in Dubai. You doing shows in Dubai. You doing shows in Madison Square Garden. You doing shows in Africa. You doing shows in the UK. You going and seeing all of these places that the people that don't like you will never see unless they watch TV or crack open the National Geographics. But you gonna let them have the power over you because you say, well, you can't, you have to get pulled into that? No, you still want that. You still want that element. You still want to keep that, keeping it real. Don't people watch Dave Chappelle's show when keeping it real goes wrong?
Right. Facts. That's why you gotta keep it tight. Shout out to Zulia
Like
Waters.
there's a difference between keeping it real and just being stupid.
Yeah.
Keeping it real is saying, you know what? Because I know the type of person I am and the person that I know that I was, if I go back to my neighborhood, I still got those beefs. Rather if I'm an artist or not, and I just sold 1 million, that beef don't die away. Why? You think it die away just because you sold 1 million copies? No, that nigga still wants you, regardless of what happened.
You still got
Or
that
you got
number on your
motherfuckers
head
that's gonna
for
look at
real.
you like, yeah, or there's going motherfuckers that's gonna look at you like, if it's anything like New York City in like the early '90s, you got like people who try to extort people.
Yeah.
The big drug dealers would look after, oh, you a rapper? Okay, let me put my arm around you real quick. And they'll try to extort you. They'll try to, use you, and you try to use their name and everything like that. But they'll end up using you and extorting you. So it's like, why be a part of that gangster element if you don't have to? You don't have to be a gangster to be a rapper. And
Fact.
that's the whole misconception of people thinking that, oh, because I'm a rapper. I mean, look at 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine wasn't even, he was not gangster at all. He wasn't gangster. He was actually, from the stories that I heard from other rappers that they was talking about him, they said he was actually a good boy. But he got caught up in a situation where he thought he was, and he got caught up in the hype. He got caught up in the clout of being a rapper. And then he ended up paying gang members to be a part of his clique, and when some shit happened, he snitched on everybody. Now, people saying, well, I wouldn't call him a snitch. Like, why not? Well, because he's not really a gangster, so him snitching doesn't really count. And I'm like, well, if you have a whole fireman outfit, and there's a building on fire, and I run to you saying, can you please put out this fire? And you go running in the building, and you end up getting killed, behind it because you didn't know the proper procedures of how to do shit, and the person that you were supposed to save that's in there, or the person that people think that you're supposed to save is in there, and they died and you died too, and a fucking balance beam just like falls on you and you end up being burnt to death and everything like that. People are like, well, would you still call him a firefighter? I'm like, no, I wouldn't call him a firefighter, but I would say that he was acting the part, and when the real shit happened, he folded under the pressure because he didn't have those accolades, he didn't have those stripes. You know, you get a lot of people who get into the game and don't have these stripes, and that's how they lose. That's why you get people snitching, uh getting hit with the RICO law. Young Thug just got hit with the RICO law. Young Thug, he's locked up now. Now, why? You a rapper. Why are you still trying to sell drugs? Why are you still trying to, have a gang? The whole gang culture. For what? And that's why, like, it's not hip hop to me to want to still do that. Even the Bloods and Crips. The Bloods and Crips didn't start out as the Bloods and Crips. The Bloods and Crips was actually a part of the Black Power movement. These were two organizations that was helping the black community against racist cops and racist whites who was coming into the community killing people. There was racist whites who was coming into the black community, lynching people and hanging them on the wire. So when you come out in the morning mowing your lawn, you see a black body hanging. These were the reason why the Bloods and the Crips were actually, made for. But it wasn't until the crack epidemic, when the police started pushing crack into the urban areas, that's when it started getting fucked up. You got crews going to different crews and this, that, and the third and everything like that. People don't understand the history. I see this young artist. He's like maybe 20, maybe even younger than that. And he got red bandanas and doing this and everything like that. I look at him and I'm like, you's a clown, son. Cause you over there talking about shooting niggas and don't even understand that the Bloods and the Crips was actually protecting people back in the day. But because the environment that you grew up from, the Bloods and the Crips damn near evolved long after, the crack epidemic. And you was born long after the crack epidemic. So you don't really understand the true meaning of what being a Blood and being a Crip is about. Or anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just people, I don't know, they're just strange and weird to me. That's why I analyze them, and then when I analyze them, I go and I write a song about them, or try to help people understand what type of people these people are. I tell people all the time, I said, look, there's a reason why I don't vote. I think that politicians, I think that the political, I said this in my rhyme, I said this in a song that I wrote called Bambo. I said it's political Bloods and Crips. That's basically it's political gangbang. You got one candidate voting for red, you got the other candidate voting for blue. And you know how many people who vote switch sides? They set trip like crazy. There's a motherfucker who don't like Biden, they be like, oh, I'm a Republican now.
Yeah.
How? I don't understand. If you're one way, you should be one way, regardless of what, that's be about. But that's the reason why I say voting doesn't count. Because if you want to be technical, it's the electoral colleges that decides the voting, how who's going to be there. If nobody voted, there's still going to be a president. We have evidence of knowing why voting doesn't count.
Right.
Back in the South, like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, for black people to vote, you had to get a gumball machine and you had to see how many gumballs was it. What kind of shit is that?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Now, in the 90s, George Bush, while all the kids was watching The Simpsons, I was watching the Simpson trial. I was that advanced. You know what I'm saying? I was watching, when George W. Bush was coming into presidency against Al Gore and having the Florida ballots disappear out of nowhere. Meanwhile, Jeb Bush is his what, brother or cousin in Florida? You mean to tell me the ballots just disappeared out of nowhere? And Al Gore had the most popular votes and Bush still won.
Yep, that's true.
Trump has no political background at all. None. What got him in that office is the fact that he's a self-made man. He used his own money. Normally, when presidents go and they do campaigns, they go to different places to raise money for their campaign. He's an heir. He ain't have to scratch nobody's back. That's why he was able to get in there, because to be honest with you, being a president really has no qualifications, for real, for real. And there's people who, like, I remember last week I'm at the gas pump. This lady comes up to me and she's looking at my SUV and she's like, "How much are you putting in that? Man, those Democrats, man, they sure." Lady, I'm just trying to get my gas and go the fuck home. I ain't trying to have all this shit.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do this political shit. Why are you bugging me? Why are you bugging me? I was like, nah. I was like, it's political Bloods and Crips. Democrats and Republicans, same bird, different wing. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, I was like, yo, you got to remember that the first 10 presidents had slaves. George Washington had slaves. Thomas Jefferson had slaves. So how can I believe in a system that wasn't actually made for us any fucking way? You know, not to jump back on it, but with the LGBT, they just passed a law. Like when Obama was president, he decided, you know, it was cool for gay people to get married. After that, everybody and their mama came out the closet.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody and their mama came out the closet.
I remember that.
And guess what? 2022, they just now passed the bill anti-lynching laws. So you mean to tell me in the 21st century, they still hanging niggas on the street? They still hanging niggas on trees? This is 2022. They just passed a gay law for you to get married before they even passed anti-lynching.
Yeah, that's sad.
They passed the no hate towards Asians before they even passed no lynching. Before any, like, what laws do the black and brown people have to protect us? Unless we're gay or Asian, we don't stand a chance. Every time there's somebody who gets killed by the police, it's always a question mark.
Yeah.
Well, what'd he do? He must have did something wrong. Cause people know if I'm in the wrong and the police hit me up, I'll shut the fuck up if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll shut the fuck up because I'm wrong. But if I'm not doing anything and you just trying to fill a quota, or you just look at me because you feel like, oh, he could be up to something, I am going to cuss you the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm going to cuss you out. Police officer about a few years ago was sitting in front of my house. I just came home from work. I had my homeboy right next to me. My wife's in the house. We about to go to Walmart. I'm sitting outside. The police officer, he didn't have his lights on. Everything was blacked out. He was just sitting there right in front of my house. So I said, you know what? I'm going to park on the other street. I'm going to park on the other side of the street because I'm not going to be here that long. I'm just waiting for her to come out. I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, he comes over here and he's got his flashlight on. And he's like, hey, am I in your parking spot? I said, yes, you are, but that's fine because I'm not staying long. I got somewhere else to go as soon as she comes down. And he just keep asking me, so you do live here? Yes, I live here. You live in this house? Yes, I live here. He's looking at me like, I don't know about that. I said, look, if you want to see my ID, it is what it is. So he's just having his flashlight. I'm chilled. I'm actually chilled. He goes and he said, let me ask you a question though. Do y'all smoke weed? I looked at him and I said, what kind of question is that? Why are you asking me this? Oh, because I smell weed. No, you don't. What he didn't know that I was going to get weed later that night, but I didn't have none on me. But he kept asking me. He was like, I smell weed. I smell weed. I said, look, you got a flashlight, right? Shine this motherfucker right next to me. It's a Black and Mild that I put out 10 minutes ago. That's what you smelling. You mean to tell me you can't figure out the difference between a Black and Mild smell and a marijuana smell? Yeah. Nah, you know better. You need to go back to the damn police academy. Or you profiling a nigga. That's it.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, so that's just what it is. That's why, like, you know, people, they always, you know, they tell me, they was like, well, not all policemen are bad. I know not all policemen are bad. My cousin, he got killed a few years ago. He was a Pittsburgh police officer. He got killed not even on duty. He was off duty breaking up a fight, and somebody ended up shooting him. And that's what it was. And he was actually a cop trying to help the community. Now I understand there's people like him, but they also got to understand that the police as a whole has a bad rapport with the black and brown community. And it's going to take years for that to rebuild. For y'all to rebuild that relationship, new cops is going to have to come in who actually give a damn about the community. You're going to have prison reform and police reform and learn how to train motherfuckers the right way. Because what they doing is when they see a black and brown people, there's no reason why a white guy can have an AK-47 and use every tactic except for force to get him away from people. But you see a little boy in the parking lot with a toy gun and it's terminate on sight.
Or with Skittles
There's no reason.
or Skittles in his hands, a candy.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. So, you know, people are fucked up out here, and that's the reason why I'm here. This is the reason why Rap Starr is there, because I'm here to shed light on this within my music and the way I talk. This is what we need. This is therapy for everybody. This is what we need. We need to have a sit down and talk to people about, you know, the things that's going on and how can we rectify it. A lot of people's not willing to rectify the situation because it benefits them some way.
Right.
I don't know how, but it benefits them some way.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just it is what it is.
They used to have city council meetings once a month. I remember all the cities and states around Boston, they used to do that. They don't do that no more. We need to have that again
No.
because that's when the streets could talk to the law and come up with like a suggestion or something that's mutual, not just it's
Hmm.
this way and that way. You're interacting with everybody in that state or that city, that you could go to that town meeting. You have the option. If you want to go and you want to talk your mouth and gives a suggestion, that's your time to go and talk. And they don't do that no more. And that's sad. Because you know, I think that the police could benefit some things that are going on in the city that they might not even know that's going on in the city. So it's another
Hmm.
ear for them to hear, so they can come to a agreement or some kind of acknowledgement why they can't do this certain way.
Right. And actually had the police hold other policemen accountable for their fucking wrongdoing. All the police, when everything goes wrong and there's some shit that happens, they always go and try to get that motherfucker to snitch on everybody. But when it comes to them, you gotta keep it hush hush. You gotta they ain't willing to tell on nobody. But when it comes to the other side, they want people to come forward. They got witness protection programs. They got uh uh what's that joint? America's Most Wanted with the tips joints and everything, the tipsters and everything. They want everybody else to snitch. But when it comes to dirt in their own backyard, they try to cover that shit the fuck up. And that's one of the biggest problems in the police is people not holding. They always hold that boys in blue code. Once you in that code, it's a code of silence. You're not supposed to reprimand your person. But what does that say to the community when you have somebody in the community do something wrong and you want to interrogate everybody trying to get a tip?
Right.
But people try to cover it up when it's on them. That's the biggest thing with police is, you know, they don't hold each other accountable for the wrongdoings that they do. And even if they do, because they're forced to, because everything is, camera and there's proof and everything, then they try to lessen it. Like, oh well, we're gonna suspend you with pay. Like, for example, there was a story in Pittsburgh. I forgot what happened initially, but it was this black guy, and I think something happened where I forgot what he did. And Pittsburgh is racist. I'm gonna tell you, Pittsburgh is a racist ass city. I hate this place
My
for real, for real.
assistant's
I hate it.
sister just moved out there, and she has a handicapped daughter. She's Puerto Rican, and she's dealing with something right now. She just moved out there last
Yeah,
month.
Yeah. Pittsburgh don't have a lot of experience with the Latino population because there is none. There is starting to have one because you have a lot of workers coming. Like I work for Home Depot, so I see them all the time. I see people from I see Boricuas, I see Chicanos, I see Mexicanos, I see Guatemalans, I see, people from different places. I see all of them. So they're coming to work. And Pittsburgh's not used to that. And it's a shame because when you think of Puerto Rico, the first thing you hear is Roberto Clemente. Roberto Clemente used to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know what I'm saying? Number 21. Every Puerto Rican respect and tip their hats off to that man because he is a representation of not only them but the culture. So being that Pittsburgh holds that down, we got a bridge, we got a statue, we got a museum. But out in a place in Chicago, they got like the Roberto Clemente High, Roberto Clemente Junior High. They got all of this stuff. So Pittsburgh is not used to uh, other people other than black and brown people. I mean, black and white people, because Pittsburgh is Pennsylvania itself is a white ass city. Like, um, my sister, she goes to Lincoln University College. It's an all black college, and it's literally in the middle of Amish country, right in the middle of Amish country. You know, so I mean, it's to the point where if there's a black person out there, they automatically think that they go to that college, because you're not going to find no other person, around the area of a person of color. Actually, her college is actually not too far from Philly, but Pittsburgh as a whole, like I said, it's racist, it's segregated. They're moving all the black people out to the suburbs and moving all the white people into the urban areas now because it's I forgot it's gentrification, but I forgot what it's also called. I forgot what it's called, but uh the upscale white people, what they're doing is they are actually um they are actually working in the city, and for them to work in the city, uh they want to live in the city. They're tired of commuting from the suburbs to the city. So they're taking down, destroying projects and building malls and expensive condos and everything, and giving the black people who live there vouchers for Section 8, and giving them houses in the suburbs, but for Section 8 pricing. You know what I'm saying? So Pittsburgh, it's a slow city. They're trying to become like a big city because Pittsburgh is a big little city. Because
Right.
there's places in Pittsburgh that I never been to, but Pittsburgh as a whole is it's not a place that I would want to raise my kids in. And I don't even want to sound like a hater, like people saying, "Oh, you hate the way I live." I think it's okay to hate the way you live because you have a right to, because you've been here before. So the things that goes on that you don't like. You know, Me personally, I don't call myself a Pittsburgh rapper. I call myself a rapper that happened to be from Pittsburgh. If you look at me, there's nothing Pittsburgh about me. People who actually live in Pittsburgh look at me and they be like, "You don't even look or sound like anybody from Pittsburgh." You know what I'm saying? So I have a different aura to myself, And then I hate the winters too. I hate winters too. I love the East Coast, but we got some harsh ass winters that even I can't even like get used to. We just
Wow,
had
it's
that
crazy.
big winter. I know. I went up to Rhode Island
Oh yeah, my condolences
earlier.
to your son-in-law, right?
Yeah, my not my son-in-law, but my stepson. My
Stepson.
stepson, he
I'm sorry.
passed away. Rest in peace, Dylan Rossi. But I went up there for his funeral. We went up there, and we was just at the tail end of the storm.
Oh,
Just at the tail end. Just at the tail end. We didn't get caught in anything, but I seen like the aftermath. Like the streets were clear, but I'm looking at people's yards, and there's like skyscraper mountain piles, like high on the sidewalks and everything. I'm like, damn. And then when I came back to Pittsburgh, we had the snowstorm. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. So you know, like I said before, I just want is people to just be open minded and know history and know knowledge. Knowledge is a big thing. You got to know everything. I try to learn as much as possible about everything that interests me. And
Yes.
even stuff that don't even stuff that don't interest me, I like to know somewhat information because I like having conversations because I express the way how I feel through dialogue or through my music. You know, I do the best when I was in college. The best things that I done was we had options of multiple choice or essays. I always chose essays because I like to express myself. So, you know, I that's what I want in my music. I want people to get from my music. And I'm trying to get kick game to them. It's not um no agenda. It's real. Like I really care, you know. So when I'm talking about power to my people, I'm really saying power to my people. I got shout out to my boy Romero. He's a contractor, and he's from Mexico. And ever since I released power to my people, and I ring him up, and he be like, "Power, it's my people, it's my people, got power." That's the type of shit that that's what's up. That brings me home. Cause it's like that's what I'm supposed to do. We supposed to do that. You know, I want the same feeling that people heard when Fight the Power, you know, came on. The same feeling that um when Tupac came out with Pain, and when Tupac came out with like inspiring songs. I want people to feel that same message, that same feeling in me. When people hear DMX, everybody say when they heard DMX, they loved DMX because he was so passionate about everything that he was doing. And it was like something little. Like when I met him, I told you this before, I went to, you know, splow hands with DMX. There was a bike between us. And he looking at me, looking at the bike. He's like, "Hey, yo, that's your bike." And I'm like, "Nah, that ain't my bike. You know, I'm just saying, you know, the bike's wearing blue light, you wearing blue light. I just thought that was your bike, yo." Things like that, you know, where I'm like, yo, that's a connection with me, man. That's crazy. Having a connection with KRS-One when I heard him talk. And me and him took pictures. Dougie Fresh, you know, Michael Eric Dyson, Stephen A. Smith from Sports Center. You know, even I'm friends with Kenneth B. Morrison Jr. Shout out to him. He is the descendant of two great people in history. He's the descendant of Booker T. Washington. No, yeah, Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass. He is the CEO of the Frederick Douglass Foundation. He travels around the world being an activist advocating anti-slavery, you know, laws. These are the type of people that I want to be around.
Yep.
You know
Me.
what I'm saying? People who's actually going to make the world a better place for our people.
Yes.
You know, so
Rap
you know
star.
that's just what it is.
Let them know.
Yeah,
My phone's about to die. Let them know all your.
mine's too.
I don't want it. What's up, Maurice? What's up? We got Canada. What's up, Donna? Salute Queen. I'll call you again.
CJ, what up? Felicia, what up? Maurice, what up? Bev, what up?
Give
What
him.
up to everybody who's tuning in, man? Yo, y'all know what y'all can find me at Facebook right here, man. Cameron Hall. You can hit me up on my Facebook fan page, Rap Star, aka Hurricane Cam. Hit me up on my YouTube, Rap Star, aka Hurricane Cam 412. Hit me up on my TikTok. It's Rap to the Star. So that's ITSRAP2 THE Rap to the Star. That's me. On my Twitter, Rapstar412. You know what it is. You know, so I'm everywhere. Yeah. And don't forget, if you want to hear that power to my people, it's out everywhere. You can look it up on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Pandora. I'm on iTunes, iHeart. I'm on Tidal. I'm on Shazam. I'm everywhere. I got a couple songs that I got featured on somebody. Shout out to King Peter Hustler. I got a song featured with him and the original Fire Mexican called Hangando. Me and Peter Hustler got another song out called Latin Love. I'm working on a song right now with him called Coast to Coast, from West Coast to the East Coast. So it's going to be crazy. I got another old song called Righteous King. You can find all that in all the platforms I just said.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, and can't forget, you know, we're gonna start back up after Memorial Day weekend. My podcast, All Talk No Filter. Shout out to STL, Dollhouse Radio, and the whole nine. Shout out to India. Shout out to Angie. My show, All Talk No Filter, is gonna be from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can look at it on StreamYard. We're gonna promote it everywhere. Y'all can call in. Y'all, we have crazy stories that we talk about, and it's gonna be popping. Shout out to Beautiful Danger Entertainment. You know what it is. Oh, I also got a show coming up in December. It's a music festival. You know, shout out to Marie Walden for this joint. Shout out to Jabari. It's going to be in December. It's going to be in Texas, and it's going to be crazy. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to perform "Power to My People" and other songs that I got too. So fuck with your boy Rap Star, aka Hurricane Cam, is going down. Beautiful Danger
Going
Entertainment
down.
with the Iccy Showw.
Yes, sir.
What up?
Definitely. I
Do it for the
appreciate
East Coast. You know what I'm saying? East
Yes,
Coast.
sir. Definitely, definitely. He
Ha
said
ha.
Wepa. He said Wepa. That's what he
Ha
said.
wapa.
I love it. I love it. Definitely. Shout out
Yeah.
to everyone tuning in. God bless everyone. Tell a friend, share it. Let everyone know where to book Mr. Rap Star over here through Beautiful Danger, his manager. He does have a manager, so you have to respect the manager and book him through the manager. That's important.
Yes, please.
Yes. And
Yes,
that's why
please.
the
I don't
artist
mind.
has
I don't mind. I don't mind, people hit me up in the inboxes. I welcome that shit. A lot of people show me love. DJs, producers, other people. But any business, that you want with me, please hit up Beverly Bush, because I do a lot. She do a lot. I usually sometimes dump the shit off of her because I'm doing so much. So please hit her up to save me the trouble, so she can hit me up and be like, yo, this is what it is, Star.
And
So
that's
it
what
is
you're
what it
supposed
is.
to. You're supposed to respect the artist by going through the manager. There shouldn't be
Of
going no
course.
behind the manager's back and book it through the artist. That's why the artist has a manager. You deal with the manager. So
Right.
you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Bev, I see you on here putting your things up here for real, for real. So salute to
Yeah.
everyone that tuned in. We had Toronto, Canada in the building. From Pennsylvania to Boston 617 to Tennessee. We out here, state to state, country to
Yeah.
country. Shout out to Legal Mob Entertainment, where I'm signed with. So salute to everyone. Salute to you, Rap Star, again coming on the Iccy Show. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry that we started late, but God bless everyone. Appreciate
Cool.
still tuning in, and I am booked until September. So if you want to be on the show, inbox your girl Jackie Brown with two C's, I.E. Brown. I got a lot going on. We got he is on the international mixtape coming out June 2nd. We're 1 month ahead of time when it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out July 4th, but we're coming out June 2nd. So salute all you artists that did your thing. I appreciate it. I appreciate DJ Big Styles hosting it with me. It's gonna be off the chain. I can't wait till
Shout
you
out to
hear
DJ
Rap
Big
Star.
Styles, man. He's dope as fuck, man. He mixed my record Power to My People, man. Shout out to him, man. I fucks with him heavy.
All right, cool, cool. I appreciate you, Rap Star. I just want to, my assistant put my shirts up. I just want to show you guys that again. If you need a shirt to be hung up on the wall, we're
Yeah.
branded and we're international. So you see that sign right there, Book It International? That is my first G Girl shirt from 2008, the black and white up in the corner. Shout out to Golden Gates
Wow.
when I was signed. And look at it, it's still crisp. So
Throwback.
look at that. Let me show you the wall. I need Rap Star shirt up here real quick. Shout out to Smokey the Bandit.
Ah,
Look at this. This is a classic. Smokey the Bandit gave me this when I flew him out here. It's amazing. Got some
oh yeah,
legends.
you definitely gonna get a Rap Store shirt. I got you, G girl.
Okay, I appreciate you. So it's your girl G Girl. I appreciate you. Rap Star coming on the Iccy Show. If you want to be a guest, inbox me. Have a blessed night. Share this to a friend, tell a friend, and God bless everyone. We are the change
Yeah.
of the world. We are the future. Our children are the future. We need to make a change for positive around the world. Keep praying and get the Bibles out. For real. We need it. For real. More positive, less negative. Let's go. Have a great day, Rap Star. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Peace.